What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Captain Marvel video review. So if you're new to the channel, please do drop a like down below and subscribe if you do enjoy the video, of course. So I've just come back from seeing Captain Marvel, and you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most part. Yes, there are parts of it which could have been better. CGI, tone, humour, the Skrulls, and as well as that, possibly maybe focus the story a bit more, because it very felt like a kind of a scattergun of different tropes and different 90s movies. Was it a buddy cop movie? Was it really a kind of fish out of water story? Was it, well, what was the movie? But to be honest, I enjoyed it. I enjoy most Marvel films. To be honest, Thor 1 and 2 being the two where I could really live without them ever being made. But Thor Ragnarok, I absolutely loved. So I guess we need to have those two to really have, I guess, Thor Ragnarok. Now, of course, there is a huge political kind of war over this movie. There's the alt-right, there's the soy boys, there's the social justice warriors, and really, this is maddening because the movie itself is not pandering. It's not this huge feminist movie that we're all expecting. It's not an Amy Schumer romp. It's not the Ghostbusters remake, which I still stand today is possibly one of the worst movies I think I have ever seen. No, this is very much an origin story about a woman who lost her memory and has been manipulated by really a horrible kind of authoritarian race of warrior heroes, as she calls them. But the big problem here was that people weren't liking Brie Larson, and to be honest, yes, I understood that she was kind of brainwashed somewhat going by the trailer. They didn't give her much personality in the trailer, and I guess that's kind of why, is because the story is she's being brainwashed. But when she lands on Earth, well, she has so much fun. And she's funny, she's witty, she's sarcastic, snarky, and the chemistry between her and Samuel Jackson is next level. Just to give you a warning here, there may be spoilers. Well, actually, there will be spoilers here. Spoilers, there will be spoilers in this video. But Brie Larson, well, she's a hell of a lot of fun, and I thought she was great in this movie. Probably the big problem in this movie is the fact that they try so much. So I mentioned that, well, what movie actually is this? And, well, we have her land on Earth, do all funny things. She tries to use the internet on Windows 95. That goes wrong. She jury-rigs a phone to speak to the rest of her team, which I don't really understand how that possibly happened. I'm going to look past that and imagine that is movie magic. But you have to ask, what is this? Because the big thing here is that she's trying to work out who this scientist woman she worked with. Turns out she was a Kree who wanted to help the Skrulls. It also turned out that she had a friend on Earth who also had a kid, and they were friends and they had a whole history. And then, well, sparks don't fly when they meet again. There's no chemistry. I don't really care about this woman. The kid is telling her to go to space and go and fight some aliens, and the woman's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll give up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to go and do it. And you're thinking, why? Why is this kid urging her mom to go and fight in a suicide mission to find the Tesseract of all things? Yes, it's weird, and the pacing, I have to say, is mostly incredibly bizarre. There are moments in this movie where it just doesn't make sense. For example, they go to Project Pegasus, and then they're held in a room and detained. Why? Because S.H.I.E.L.D. know all about it. Everyone else knows all about it. What's going on? But the interesting thing here with Project Pegasus is the fact that it is, of course, the precursor to the Project Pegasus from Avengers. They are very much building the building where Avengers started, where we saw the Tesseract with Selvig and, of course, Nick Fury and Hawkeye as well. That building is this building in Captain Marvel? So this is very much a prequel in no uncertain terms to the first Avengers movie, because that is all about the Tesseract, that is all about creating weapons from the Tesseract, and that is how Captain Marvel got her powers. So it is very much a prequel movie. So if you're wondering how it connects, that's how it connects. It is almost a direct prequel to that. So if you want to watch a chronological thing there, if you watch the rest of the prequel movies with Iron Man, Thor, you know the deal, just watch that just before Avengers and you're going to really, really enjoy it, because I like the way they did that. That's what I liked. What I didn't like was we have forced kind of emotion from a woman who we saw in flashbacks. And, well, that didn't work, because I actually don't care about her if she ever turns up again. The only interesting thing is that her daughter was the second Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau is a big character in the Captain Marvel mythos. There was humour as well in the movie, which, like I said, works well for Brie Larson, and, well, it works and gives her some personality, but it was, in parts, a bit cringe. Especially when it comes to the Skrulls. I don't know why we were laughing. Originally, the Skrulls, they're kind of a bit of a joke at the moment. They're a bit of kind of funny fodder. In other comics, we've had them sitting there playing poker and Captain America busts in and takes them away. But that's really it. They're kind of a bit goofy and slapstick. That's where some comedy comes from. But the leader of them, Ben Mendelsohn, you're just like, I don't really feel it. And the whole storyline where it turns out that Mar-vel, who was Annette Bening, wanted to help them, you kind of think, oh, that came out of nowhere. That's an interesting story. That is a fantastic story, which could have been the whole subplot. That could have been everything. It could have been her finding her Annette Bening helping, but she died, and the Space Force were to blame. And really, the whole problem in this movie is the fact that it turns out that the Kree were bad, the Skrulls were good. Now, in the original comic, from what I got from it, was that both sides, Kree and Skrull, were bad. And it is the people who are in the middle of war, the kind of Earth, so to speak, the refugees, they're the ones who suffer. And they've kind of skimmed over that there and give that to the Skrulls who are on the run, and they're not really taking over planets. They're just trying to find a place to live, and the accusers, Ronan as well, they're the ones who actually are the problem. We're introduced to more accusers, but we never actually see or hear about them. We see glimpses of MCU references, stuff I wanted to dive more into, but we never actually see it, which is a complete and utter shame. But there is that. It's curious to say the least. I did like the fact that it wasn't a traditional origin story, so to speak, in the way that her brain was all scattered. She landed on Earth and had to go through a buddy cop story with Nick Fury, which I enjoyed, and it was nice seeing Agent Coulson there nonetheless. And that was what I liked. Seeing Agent Coulson, would have been nice to see him just a tad more. Clark Gregg is an absolute G, and if you've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's been an absolute gem throughout. Now, there are incredibly big problems here with the movie. The CGI really was bad in parts. It was almost laughably bad in parts, and really, I did not like that. But there are parts where it was good, and I'm going to defend this movie where they're saying that there was no struggle or anything. And she's a hero at the start, she's a hero at the end. She doesn't have a struggle. She does, because it's showing that it's okay to have emotion. She's feeling anger, resentment, and in the end, it shows that really that's what makes you human, and it's okay to feel, which is a very, very deep thing there. And, well, I think that's, in the current climate, it's okay to feel things nonetheless. So I think that really does give that a bit of gravitas there, to be honest. The 90s nostalgia, I absolutely loved. I loved hearing Garbage. We had Nirvana there as well, which I found weird, because when she goes to meet the Kree Supreme Intelligence again, when she fights it, Well, we hear Come As You Are, which was released in 1992 on the Nevermind album. But she went missing in 1989, I believe. So it doesn't really match up there, does it? She went missing 6 years ago. So how would she have ever heard Come As You Are and on a record player as well? Bit odd. But I'm going to look over that, and especially when they were scanning Nick Fury, it said Earth, not Terra. Again, lots of lazy little plot points, completely and utterly missed in the movie, but overall, I did enjoy it. Goose being a flirkin, I expected. But really, my real criticism here with the movie falls with the fact that the Skrulls are good. This means that we won't be getting Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion will not be happening because why would they be invading Earth if they're good? And I was expecting a post-credit scene where we saw someone, maybe a big MCU character, to be a Skrull. Maybe they'll save that for Endgame because it's a real shame that this happened. Mandarin, I can understand it because they fixed that in the Hail to the King one-shot. The Skrulls, they're a funny, wacky group who just want to have family. And I feel like we've done that with Guardians of the Galaxy when we saw Xandar and we saw John C. Reilly's character have a alien baby kid thing with an alien. So it's not really needed. And I really feel that the story is subpar there because the Skrulls are such a big and kind of scary race. Especially at the start of the movie, they showed their threat very, very well. But now they're kind of just a bit ruined, really. Now, of course, we saw the big Stan Lee cameo there, which I absolutely loved. He was playing himself because he was reading his Mallrats script in Los Angeles when he actually was in Mallrats reading his lines there. So he was in Mallrats the movie. Go and check that out if you haven't seen it. It's a fantastic movie with Jason Lee, and it's a fantastic Kevin Smith movie who I hope one day will get to touch a Marvel property at some point. It's inevitable really there. But the movie finally answered where Captain Marvel was. She is on another planet because she has gone around helping planets that don't have the Avengers. Because, well, that's how it works. And I love the fact that she appears in the post-credit scenes and she just says like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I'm here. Where's Fury? So it's really cool there as well. We saw a super soldier serum at the end, which is really curious. So her sort of pager was surrounded by super soldier serum or Kree blood. I'm not too sure, kind of interchangeable somewhat there, really, isn't it? But I really did like that, and that adds more things. Is there going to be more super soldiers? Is there's a plan to fight Thanos? And there was as well a scene of Endgame that was shown at the Disney shareholder meeting where Captain Marvel explains she was on another planet helping people who didn't have Avengers. So she's been gone, and that's why she was gone this time. So overall, the movie, I really enjoyed it. As an MCU fan, I enjoyed it. As a movie, it was pretty decent. It was pretty decent there. But there are parts of it where I was just thinking, what's going on? But I had a whale of a time. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was exciting. Could it have focused a bit more onto deciding which movie it wanted to be? Yes. Yes, it could have been. The Skrulls, you've ruined all the opportunities that you could have had. You could have hinted towards that they actually were evil in the end, and having them joke around just feels a bit redundant. And the criticism that people lay at the feet of the MCU is that it's too funny and light-hearted. Yes, criticism here, absolutely valid, because you've reduced one of your biggest and scariest villains to just being a bit of a joke and a bit social justice there, when really it was Earth caught in the middle of the war, which was more interesting, and they kind of dropped the ball there, in my opinion, with that storyline. But the interesting thing here, moving forward, so what ramifications does this have for Endgame? Well, Captain Marvel herself gets her powers from the Tesseract. So she possibly can time travel. It's been mentioned, Captain Marvel, well, Nick Fury says that she can time travel. She's got the Space Stone, so she can really probably maybe able to teleport or something like that. But she's intrinsically linked to one of the Infinity Stones. So maybe, well, I would like to say she didn't go because she got her powers from an Infinity Stone, but Scarlet Witch went, and, well, yeah, that doesn't really hold up there. There's not really a reason why she was managed to stay, and I'm not really sure how the Quantum Realm will involve her in some way, shape, or form. But the fact that she got her powers from the Tesseract, that is very, very important because it's one of the biggest ones in this movie. And if they go back in time and get it from a different point, maybe her powers will not be that great. Or if they try and destroy it further back in time, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem because then she'll never actually get her powers. But I'm just speculating there moving forward. But her getting her powers from the Tesseract changed quite a lot because in the comics, she got it from a psych magnetron device where Yon-Rogg kind of tried to kill her and then it went wrong and she merged her DNA with Captain Marvel. Now, do I like the fact that Annette Bening, she was Mar-Vel? Easy, but there is no original Captain Marvel just like the comics, so I guess they've done the best that they actually can there, to be honest. But overall, it's a bit of fun. We've had a lot of Easter eggs as well. We had Kelly Sue DeConnick, who was the reboot, kind of the modern era version of Captain Marvel writer that we had. She was there in the train station just after the train fight. And there's quite a few different Easter eggs, of course, like I mentioned, with Ronan the Accuser, who says he'll come back for Captain Marvel. But why would he? Because we know that he doesn't. Why did he even say that? And it was a real shame that they actually did that. The whole thing with the eye, I didn't like. Didn't like that at all. That's not my jam there. But it's a decent enough film. I think I would highly recommend going to see it. And is it essential for Endgame? Not really. Is it essential as an MCU fan? Kind of, because it has so many different plot threads, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Guardians of the Galaxy and everything like that. But that is it for this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.